Tom Brady. Buccaneer legend, Florida man, Hooters Reward Club customer, winner of 6 world championships. What if I told you in the year 2000, 6 quarterbacks were taken in the draft before him? Chad Pennington out of Marshall, Giovanni Carmazzi, goat farmer, an old prospector named Dave, Northwest Missouri State Tech A&M, Spuds McKenzie, BYU, Stephen Hawking, Milky Way Galaxy, Spurgeon Wynn, Southwest Texas State. Who were these 6 players? And how were so many teams wrong about Tom Brady in the 2000 draft? Here's the facts, part 2, the 2000 draft and the Brady 6.
Tom Brady wasn't something that happens every year. You're not going to find that 6th-round quarterback who becomes a Hall of Famer. It just isn't going to happen.
Coming out of college, scouts were less than thrilled about Michigan's Tom Brady.
Interesting guy.
Lions executive Ron Hughes said,
He looks like one of those poles you hang coats on. He's got big knobs on his shoulders. Worst case scenario, we get a really handsome coat rack, which Detroit has been looking for decades.
That same year, a scout for the Browns was just a little bit more blunt.
I don't like him,
The scout said.
Smart guy, yeah, but so is Stephen Hawking. I think Hawking may be quicker on his feet. We're leaning toward Hawking at this point.
Andy Reid, the head coach of the Eagles at the time, also had some confusing thoughts that we think were about Brady.
Great quality. Thicker than most with a nice charred taste. Juicy once punctured, best served on a brioche bun with a side of horseradish.
Andy Reid on either Tom Brady or roast beef sandwiches. Bill Belichick, on the other hand, far more committed in his analysis on Brady. Brady? Bill Belichick asked. Yeah. Quarterback. Played for Michigan. It was obvious by Bill Belichick's praise he was all in on Brady, even though at the time he was also considering Hawking at quarterback. And if you look back at ESPN's coverage of that draft, even Mel Kiper was on the fence.
Tom Brady from Michigan, 6'4", skinny as a bamboo pole. Like really handsome bamboo. Great leader. Does everything you ask of him. And I mean anything. The guy seems to have 0 boundaries. A real giver. Eager to please. Doesn't just go through the same old routine, constantly likes to switch it up. Whether in the shower, on the kitchen counter, sometimes even in the car when he's been drinking. What he lacks in God-given talent he makes up for and willingness to do more. He's always rearing to go. Questionable arm strength. Allegedly needs both hands to lift beers larger than 12 ounces. In terms of comparisons on speed, I'd have to go with the manatee. But like a handsome manatee that you can escape the occasional boat propeller with. A Caucasian manatee, if you will. Lighter than hell, you get where I'm going. He's a big game player, steps up in the big moment with earth-shattering moments. Similar to an episode 9 of, say, Game of Thrones, which won't actually air for another 12 years. Nor has it even been written, so I'm not even really sure what I'm talking about here. He's a straight drop-back passer, not queer like many were thinking after we saw his headshots coming out of college. The guy is straight as an arrow, although he's open to experimenting when it will benefit the team.
Outside of Brady's scouting reports, his combine results were also abysmal. Legendary retired athletics trainer Bernie Callahan, who was with Brady during the combine, gives his thoughts on his performance.
When Brady first showed up for drills, I thought it was a joke. I took one look at the guy and I was like, hey, who let bitch boy in the building? I didn't give the poor kid a chance. No one did. He looked like he had never done a push-up in his life. I actually tried calling security, but he looked so average at the time you couldn't point him out in the lineup. He was so mediocre, he was practically invisible. Most people know this by now, that he ran a 5.2 40. Almost no one knows it wasn't 5 seconds. It was 5 hours and 20 minutes. I've never seen somebody move so slowly. His movements were so slow, they were almost imperceptible to the naked eye. All the footage you've seen is edited in rapid motion. They tried turning the lights off to the stadium 4 different times. He stopped and got a drink midway through, and we thought he was done, but then he just kept on moving. In all honesty, I admired the kid's persistence, but the kid sucked. Balls. Big ones.
But despite Brady's poor scouting reports and his poor combine, Bill Belichick of the Patriots still opted to take him in the 6th round. And just what exactly came of the 6 quarterbacks that teams drafted before Brady? Chad Pennington had a decent career with a handful of teams, but ultimately fell victim to multiple shoulder injuries that ended up cutting his career short. Giovanni Carmazzi played only 1 season for the 49ers before being cut and forgotten by the league. Old Prospector had a somewhat successful run in the NFL, but ultimately retired to go out west to pursue his passion of finding gold in California.
Top of Old Boot Hill, just follow the dry creek bed, but be careful, there's quicksand.
Animal. His name is Spuds McKenzie.
Spuds McKenzie was a dog who drank beer. He was great to have around the locker room, but ultimately his lack of opposable thumbs led to his departure from the NFL. Stephen Hawking's work as a theoretical physicist ultimately proved invaluable to the world of science, but his inability to move or speak did not serve him well in the NFL.
I was still way faster than that bitch Brady ever was.
And who gives a fuck about Spurgeon Wynn?
In terms of comparisons on speed, I'd have to go with the manatee. But like a handsome manatee that you can escape the occasional boat propeller with.